Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Lex, and in today's video I will be sharing with you all a July monthly plan with me / reset video. I will be going a little bit over the previous month of June and what I'm planning for the month of July. So let's get started. All right, so I have my notes here with me, and we are going to start off with my top 3 focus areas from last month. So the first focus area that I had was creativity, and with that I was focusing on leaning into each creative idea that popped into my head and doing my best to see it through from start to finish. So thinking back on that, I did do a few projects that I started. Every creative idea that came to mind, I was like, okay, boom, we're gonna sit down and we are going to start working on it and get it done. There were a few projects that I did not finish, and most of these projects were actually like graphic design related, but in Canva, if that makes sense. Like graphic design, but not graphic design. My second focus area for the month of June was organization. And although I feel like I'm pretty organized already, my goal in June was to put more structure into place and have a more solid system. So having an organizational system where I knew where everything was and it was easy for me to go back and forth between all of the different tools that I was using. So it kind of worked out, it kind of didn't. So I have been trying my best to use Notion, and it's not hard, but I'm like struggling a bit with like making it look cute. I don't, obviously like the organizational part in Notion is fine, but I want it to look pretty, like aesthetically pleasing. So I kind of halfway through the month got annoyed, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just stick to GoodNotes and do all of my brain dumping and everything there. So that's one way that I was maintaining organization, as well as in a planner that I have, which I will be mentioning a little bit later in today's video, but that one helped me a lot. So that was good. My third focus area for the month of June was balance. And so with that, my goal was to give myself more grace and essentially like make sure I'm not burning myself out by focusing too much on one area or too much on a bunch of little itty bitty areas. So with that, what I did was that organizational structure that I had put together, I just listed out every day like a top 3 to-do list or something along those lines. Now granted, I listed out these areas, like these top 3s, in a bunch of different notebooks, so that was not the best organizational way to go about it, but at the end of the day it helped me. So we made it through the month of June and we're here now. So continuing on with my reflection from June, one other thing that I had as like a to-do, and I also do like a mini version of my plan with me's on Instagram, so that's where most of this is coming from. But anyway, so a to-do that I had, or like a take action, was to be intentional with every interaction that I had in the month of June and allow myself to be fully present and expressing gratitude for each waking moment. And looking back on the month of June, I feel like I put myself in a lot of different positions to really just remain in gratitude and remain grateful for all of the things that I was doing. Every interaction I had, literally, I was like, wow, this was great talking to this person. Thank you for connecting with me. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to literally talk to me or hear me talk to you. And also, the month of June was my birthday month, so I did my best to respond to every single birthday post. You know the vibes. Anyways, so yeah, that was another area of June that I wanted to reflect on. To wrap up my reflection for June, I'm going to share one thing I learned and one thing that I'm proud of. So one thing I learned in the month of June was a little bit of user experience design. So I signed up for the Google UX design certification program, mostly because that's just something that I'm interested in right now, and I'm working on, my blog and all of that, blah blah blah. So learning UX design so far has been a bit of a challenge, but I've been enjoying the process. So you win some, you lose some. One thing I'm proud of is not giving up on like my creative ideas. So going back to one of the focus areas of creativity, I usually tend to like have like all these creative ideas, brain dump them all, and then be like, yeah, I'm gonna do them, and then quit. But last month I've actually took the time to flesh it out, to create an outline, further develop the brain dump that I have with my creative ideas. So that's something I'm really proud of, because going forward, I feel like I can really accomplish a lot of what I've written down so far. Please, not my phone fake dying. Anyway, so moving on to the month of July, my top 3 focus areas are going to be confidence. So essentially with confidence, I am telling myself practice makes progress. Doesn't have to be perfect. Literally, it's okay to not have something right the first time, as long as we're continuing to practice and building confidence in our skills. And then also having fun every step of the way. I feel like if I'm not having fun, then my confidence isn't really coming through in the work that I'm doing. My second focus area is joy. So continuing to remain in gratitude for everything that comes my way, and just finding joy in every lesson and blessing that there is, that I have, that comes to me. And then my final focus area for the month of July is discipline. So with discipline, this is essentially sticking by what I say. So not changing my mind a million times, because if you know me, you know how indecisive I am. We're working on that. And then also just maintaining a routine and structure. So like I said, for last month, I feel like I was pretty organized, but now I want to be more disciplined with my organization and maintain a routine and structure that will allow me to maximize my energy in the best way possible without burning myself out. Now, this is the planner that I briefly mentioned earlier. This is the Intentional Living Planner by Ariel Simone that just launched this year. I love it because not only was the planner created by a Black woman, but it starts off in April, as you can see here on the side, versus January, which I like because spring is technically when the new year starts. Now, flipping over into the month of July, I love how each month of the planner has a specific theme, with this month's theme being creative joy, which I think is super fitting. Now, some questions I'll be spending some time thinking about when it comes to creative joy are where I'm going to add more intentional time in the month to play, and how I'm going to add more childlike joy into my life. For me, looking at the creative hobbies, I'm going to continue with my daily journaling. I think I'll try out some adult coloring. Definitely create a few vision boards and maybe a little work on photography. I don't know if I'll do any DIY projects, so I'm going to skip that for now. I do play an instrument. I started playing the flute in 5th grade, but fell off my junior year of high school. So I'm going to attempt to get back into that again, if not this month, definitely soon. I think I'll also include drawing. I've been meaning to get back into Procreate again, so there's that. Now, these 6 things are likely what I'll focus on for creative joy for this month, but we shall see how that all plays out. This is my favorite part about planning each month, is getting to redo my dry erase calendar. So here all I'm doing is removing the details for June and then adding in what I currently have for July. Here I'm just adding a couple of dates first without having to smudge. And then I like to outline the days that I'll be traveling, just to have that visual when I look up, so I'm not constantly having to look at my Google Calendar. And then adding in the rest of these dates here. Then of course, I gotta add in when I get paid, because you gotta get that money, honey. And I also decided to highlight the upcoming US holiday for some reason. But anyway, whatever. Once I finish kind of doing that overview for the month, I go in and add some notes. So for this month, I'm planning to start reading again, updating my financial plan starting this month through the end of the year, working on a few projects, posting more on social media, and overall just making sure that I'm actually enjoying life. And lastly, to top it all off, I go in and add a quote of the month, which usually I get from Pinterest, and I'll actually be sharing this month's quote at the end of this video. Here is the finished product. I think it looks pretty good for now. I'll probably go in and make some changes throughout the month. So as we get ready to close out today's video, I want to take a moment to provide you all with an action item for the month, and that is to allow yourself to be confident in everything you create and share it with others, and move your body and let your creativity flow through you. With that, I also have a couple of journal prompt questions. 1, what do you want to create? And 2, how will movement help you to express your creativity? And finally, here's a quote from Oscar Wilde on creativity. The quote says, "You can't use up creativity. The more you use, the more you have." Keep that in mind. Thank you all for watching. I hope you liked today's video. If you did, please feel free to give it a thumbs up. And if you're feeling the vibe on here, go ahead and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.